I've had my like knockdown, drag out fights with my bosses who would probably tell you, not that I'm not nice. I think I'm nice, but that I'm I can be passionate about things in ways. But when it comes to the internet, the way I try and approach it honestly is just that everyone is out there because they're really passionate about these characters. They're going to approach you and say things they wouldn't say to your face, and that's okay. I just try and kill it with kindness and be like, if there's something constructive that they say, I do try and listen. And if it's something that's just trollishly nasty, I just avoid it. So it's 10 years of building up a thick skin for it. Yeah, I mean, we're really trying to do that as well. I mean, for us, we build it around those intimate stories. So the biggest personal relationships we're kind of exploring this arc and do more are Kendra Saunders, Hawkgirl, and her son Shane, Martian Manhunter, the legacy of Martian Manhunter and his possible return. Lex Luthor is going through tremendously emotional sort of turns of character in ways that for us are meant to feel intimate, meant to feel personal and affecting. So each arc we've tried to design around different characters. We did a Drowned Earth arc that was largely about Aquaman and Mera. We did one, the Sixth Dimension, that was about Superman and Batman. So we're trying to sort of have this huge, crazy, almost lunatic, bombastic, cosmic stage that Justice League demands. These big set pieces and big stakes and big kind of cosmic concepts, and yet really only build those around the emotionality of one or two characters an arc. So that's the goal. We want it to feel almost like crazy widescreen, over-the-top epic action, but when you drill down, it's actually quite a personal soap opera. We wanted to wait till they were properly sort of reintroduced by Doomsday Clock. But spiritually, or the reason why I think they make sense now and why Doom War sort of brings them in and also brings in the Justice League of Justice League 1 Million, Justice Legion A, is that we wanted to show in a way that sometimes we look back and say, oh, the fight against evil was so clear-cut. Morality was very black and white back in the JSA's time. They just punched Nazis and that was it. Or in the far future, there's these synthetic brainiac robots and they're very easy to determine that's evil. But the truth is, when you look at the entire span of time, being good or believing in justice, believing that our nature is not cruel and selfish, and taking that leap of faith is never easy. There's never a time when that doesn't come with tremendous anxiety and tremendous adversity and pressure. So even when the JSA were young, and that's why we're showing them when they were young, in the 39, 40, we didn't know if we were going to win. There were people here who didn't want to get involved in the war. It was a total miasma of conflict, and so what I want to do with that, by showing the entire span of the DCU, on the one hand, is have fun and say, this is a giant cast, it's everyone you've ever wanted to see, from Kamandi to Batman Beyond. But what it's really trying to say is that it never ends. Like, the fight to be good, the fight to even have faith in human nature, which is what Justice League is about, it never gets easier. Doom More, what we're doing now in Justice League, is the culmination of sort of 3 to 4 years of planning. When we began Metal back in 2016, 2017, we pitched to DC a sort of plan, an ecosystem of story that would roll out of that if it worked. If it didn't work, then we'd say our goodbyes and sort of be done. But luckily, Metal went over well, and we're very grateful to fans for that. And so that launched a bunch of new sort of directions for Justice League Dark, Justice League Odyssey, Superman, Batman. All of that stuff was sort of planned as a fan of story that would go outward and then come back together at this particular moment, with Doom More sort of crescendoing the Justice League part of it, Batman, Superman bringing the Batman Who Laughs part of it to a head, and then all of that crashes together in the Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, or Ha, as we call it, that James Tynion is writing. And then from that, we get to the thing that we've been planning since Metal 1, which is sort of the biggest cosmic showdown between everyone, and that addresses a lot of the connectivity. What we want to do is do a story where everything matters, where at the end you say, oh, the JSA was introduced in Doomsday Clock that way, I get it, now it's over here, it makes sense why that happened, what the timeline sort of did, why it buckled the way it did, why it's being fixed the way it is. All of that stuff is meant to sort of come together in one big singular plan. And so that's our job. That's what we're trying to do. The working on Justice League, our team, and Josh Williamson as well. And we're trying to build you something that says this is one big immersive narrative. He's sort of a breakout star, which we never expected. I just loved writing Starro in metal because we wrote him as kind of a punk, you know? And then I was like, all right, I miss him. What if a fragment of him was still around but was even more kind of irreverent, but also sort of a softie and then wanted to be Robin? And so it was one of the ideas that I didn't even really pitch to DC because I was afraid they would just hate it. So we just kind of stuck him in. And I love him. And the reason I think that maybe fans respond to him is that he's sort of like the lunacy that comics should be able to, I think, enjoy and celebrate. You know, a psychic Martian starfish that, you know, is supposed to be a world conqueror, but is also like this big. But he's also really emotional. Like, he wants to impress Batman, and he thinks of him as his father, and he wants to be the best Robin of all time. And, you know, and there's something like, I think it's that weird intersection of like heavy, soapy sentiment and emotionality where he's like, you know, he's like, look at me, Dad, I'm the best Robin. And just, you're like, I'm looking at a one-eyed purple alien starfish, you know, and that's comic books to me. That's what's wonderful about them.